Welcome back, dear viewers, to another spine-chilling installment of our haunted storytelling series. In this fifth episode, we delve into the shadowy corridors and hallowed halls of some of the most haunted schools and universities across the globe. These institutions, revered for their academic excellence and historic legacies, harbor secrets far darker than any textbook could ever reveal. Beneath their ivy-covered walls and polished oak floors lie tales of tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting despair, stories that refuse to fade with time. Education is often seen as a beacon of enlightenment, a sanctuary where young minds are shaped and futures forged. Yet, these very places of learning have also witnessed unspeakable horrors. Forbidden romances ended in violence, students lost to untimely deaths, teachers driven to madness, and spirits bound to classrooms by unresolved grievances. From ancient European academies steeped in centuries of lore to modern campuses plagued by inexplicable phenomena, the supernatural has found fertile ground within the confines of educational institutions. In this episode, we'll journey through labyrinthine libraries where books move on their own, dormitories haunted by restless souls, and lecture halls echoing with disembodied voices. We'll uncover first-hand accounts from students, faculty, and paranormal investigators who've dared to confront the unknown. Along the way, we'll peel back the layers of history to reveal the tragic events that gave rise to these hauntings, exploring how the past continues to shape and haunt the present. And prepare yourself for an unforgettable descent into academia's darkest corners. As we step into the haunted heart of these schools and universities, remember, knowledge isn't always power, it can be terrifying. Winchester College, the ghosts of England's oldest school nestled in the picturesque town of Winchester, Hampshire, lies Winchester College, one of England's oldest and most prestigious boarding schools, founded in 1382 by William of Wykeham. With its sprawling Gothic architecture, cloistered courtyards, and rich tapestry of history, the college exudes an aura of timeless grandeur. Yet beneath its scholarly facade lies a dark undercurrent of spectral activity, fueled by centuries of whispered legends and documented encounters. One of the most enduring hauntings at Winchester College revolves around the chapel court, a serene yet eerie space surrounded by towering stone walls. According to local lore, the spirit of a young boy named George Chandler roams this area, forever trapped between life and death. Historical records suggest that Chandler was a student in the early 17th century who met a tragic end after falling ill during a harsh winter. Unable to return home due to travel restrictions imposed by his family, he succumbed to pneumonia in one of the school's austere chambers. Students and staff alike report seeing a pale figure dressed in outdated uniform wandering near the chapel late at night. Some claim to hear faint coughing sounds emanating from empty rooms, while others describe feeling an inexplicable chill when passing through chapel court after dusk. Another prominent figure in Winchester's haunted history is believed to be Reverend Thomas Garnier, a former headmaster whose tenure spanned the mid-19th century. Known for his strict discipline and fiery sermons, Garnier left an indelible mark on the institution, but not all memories of him are fond. Paranormal investigators exploring the grounds have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Silence!" and "Attend to your studies." Witnesses describe seeing a tall, imposing man clad in clerical robes pacing anxiously near the library or standing silently in the shadows of the great hall. His ghostly form vanishes abruptly when approached, leaving behind an oppressive sense of dread. The college's medieval tunnels, once used for storage and covert movements during wartime, have become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the underground passages often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a group of students who swore they saw a procession of monks walking solemnly in single file, their faces obscured by hoods, before disappearing into solid walls. Modern-day investigations into Winchester College's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the chapel court and the medieval tunnels. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original founders. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "help me," and "let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Winchester College remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to explore its grounds, the possibility of encountering George Chandler, Reverend Garnier, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the campus, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the college's macabre legacy? Ohio University, Athens Asylum, and beyond. Nestled in the rolling hills of southeastern Ohio, Ohio University stands as both a bastion of higher education and a hotspot for paranormal activity. While the university itself boasts a vibrant academic community, its surrounding area, including the infamous Athens Lunatic Asylum, is steeped in haunting legends that continue to captivate students, faculty, and paranormal investigators alike. This juxtaposition of scholarly pursuit and spectral mystery makes Ohio University one of the most haunted campuses in the world. Athens Lunatic Asylum, now repurposed as part of Ohio University's campus and renamed The Ridges, looms large over the university's haunted reputation. Established in 1874, the asylum served as a mental health facility until its closure in 1993. During its operation, it housed thousands of patients subjected to experimental treatments, overcrowded conditions, and allegedly unethical practices. Tragedies unfolded within its walls, culminating in numerous deaths under mysterious circumstances. One of the most chilling incidents occurred in 1978, when a patient named Margaret Schilling disappeared without explanation. Her body was discovered weeks later in an abandoned wing, her decomposing remains leaving a permanent stain etched into the floor. Legend has it that her ghost still wanders the halls, accompanied by the faint smell of decay and echoes of her final moments. Students residing in nearby dormitories frequently recount bizarre experiences linked to the asylum's lingering energy. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in buildings closest to the ridges. Doors slam shut on their own, and disembodied whispers seem to float through the air. One particularly harrowing account involves a freshman student who claimed to wake up in the middle of the night to find a translucent woman standing at the foot of her bed, her hollow eyes staring directly into hers before vanishing without a trace. Others describe hearing distant screams and cries, reminiscent of the asylum's troubled past. Beyond the ridges, Ohio University's main campus harbors its own share of ghostly tales. Wilson Hall, a stately dormitory constructed in 1967, is infamous for its alleged connection to occult activities and paranormal phenomena. Built atop what was once a Native American burial ground, the hall quickly gained a reputation among students for being haunted. Residents report seeing shadowy figures darting across hallways, objects moving on their own, and doors locking themselves despite no mechanical issues. A popular urban legend suggests that a secret society conducted rituals in the basement during the building's early years, inadvertently summoning malevolent entities that remain active to this day. Another notable location on campus is Bentley Annex, formerly the site of the old women's gymnasium. Converted into offices and classrooms, the annex retains an unsettling atmosphere. Faculty members working late at night often described feeling an overwhelming sense of being watched, even when alone. Footsteps echo down empty corridors, and desks rearrange themselves overnight. Some claim to see a ghostly figure peering out of windows, her expression frozen in eternal anguish. Local historians speculate that she may be a former athlete who died tragically during practice decades ago. Paranormal investigators exploring Ohio University have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the ridges and Wilson Hall. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless in the doorway of an abandoned classroom, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the campus's reputation as one of the most haunted places in America. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Ohio University continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. Heidelberg University, spirits among the ruins perched along the banks of the Neckar River in Germany. Heidelberg University stands as a testament to centuries of intellectual pursuit and cultural heritage. Founded in 1386, it is one of Europe's oldest and most prestigious institutions of higher learning. However, beneath its storied halls and picturesque landscapes lies a darker narrative, one marked by war, plague, and spectral encounters that defy explanation. Heidelberg's haunted reputation stems not only from its long history but also from its physical embodiment of resilience and ruin, particularly embodied by the iconic Heidelberg Castle. Heidelberg Castle, looming dramatically above the university, serves as both a symbol of the city's grandeur and a repository of its tragedies. Partially destroyed during the 30 Years' War and further ravaged by lightning strikes and fires, the castle's crumbling ruins evoke a sense of melancholy that resonates deeply with visitors. It is here that many believe the spirits of those who perished in conflict or succumbed to disease still linger. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the castle centers around Elizabeth Stuart, the Winter Queen, whose brief reign over Bohemia ended in exile. Locals claim her ghost haunts the castle gardens, appearing as a regal figure draped in flowing white robes. Visitors have reported seeing her gazing mournfully toward the horizon, as though longing for a kingdom she can never reclaim. Within the university itself, tales of hauntings abound, particularly in the old library, a labyrinthine repository of rare manuscripts and ancient texts. Students and librarians alike recount strange occurrences, books falling off shelves without cause, flickering lights casting eerie shadows across dusty volumes, and the faint sound of quills scratching against parchment emanating from empty reading rooms. Some attribute these phenomena to the restless spirits of scholars who dedicated their lives to research, unwilling to leave behind the knowledge they so passionately pursued. Another prominent figure in Heidelberg's haunted lore is believed to be Johann Friedrich von Weizsäcker, a professor of theology whose controversial teachings led to his dismissal in the early 18th century. According to legend, von Weizsäcker refused to abandon his post, continuing to deliver lectures in secret until his death. Paranormal investigators exploring the university have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Truth shall prevail," and "Seek wisdom." Witnesses describe seeing a gaunt man clad in period attire pacing anxiously near lecture halls or sitting silently in the corner of study rooms. His ghostly form vanishes abruptly when approached, leaving behind an oppressive sense of unease. The university's botanical garden, nestled within the shadow of the castle, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the manicured hedges and exotic plants often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of gardeners buried without proper markers. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the flora. Modern-day investigations into Heidelberg University's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near the old library and the botanical garden. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original founders. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Heidelberg University continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to explore its grounds, the possibility of encountering Elizabeth Stuart, Johann Friedrich von Weizsäcker, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the weight of its tragic legacy, Heidelberg University offers an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Patterns across haunted schools and universities, themes of loss and legacy as we traverse the haunted landscapes of schools and universities. From the ancient halls of Winchester College to the sprawling campus of Ohio University, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted schools captivate us? What is it about haunted schools and universities that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through the most haunted schools and universities in the world to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted schools or universities yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.